Ila, you can start.
Keep your balance. Must. Hello and good evening, everyone. I need the today's host, and the today's topic is education in metaverse, bridging the engagement gap for student and education. And to add our guest of honor and speaker, Mr. Omkar Pimple, it's a great honor to have you with us. We are grateful for your presence, sir. Also, I see quite number of people are joining us. So let us a brief introduction of our organization. So this webinar is conducted by Sames Welfare Foundation, and Sames Welfare Foundation is a not-for-profit entity. Its work in the area of education, social welfare, women empowerment, entrepreneurship, skills development, and livelihood generation and employability, health, search, culture, international coordination, sports, and environments. We promote healthy life balance and active community and strong business. It allows to voluntary members contract their energies in an effort on now coming to the topic, education, the metaverse, bridging engagement gap student and active team of technology that blend the real and virtual worlds, like augmented reality, virtual reality, and specialized training, the areas of higher education in an environment where students can't always be presented in a physical classroom. XR provides a new way to access their environmental space. Students can work and learn together in virtual environment as though they were in a person. Group can be taken a unique field to trip around the world. Now let me introduce today's speaker to you all, Mr. Omkar Pimpu. He has a founder, CEO, and Miracle.io Germany. He carries her background in 10 plus years in immersive accessibility technology in industry as well as academic research and AI and mobile and learning science. He has operated his own e-tech apps crossing 5 million downloads and across 180 plus countries and has the technology team is several domain including education, BTech, health tech, e-commerce, logistics, and in Europe, as well as in India. Mr. Omkar Pimpu has and Miracle.io help education organizations unlock learning by doing in the real world metaverse. Before starting with today's event, there are some rules which is present, which is participants need to obey and follow them. Feel free to drop your questions in a chat box. We will answer every question in the end. Every participant is requested to keep your mic mute. Lastly, a feedback form will be shared in a chat box. So now over to you, sir. Please continue.
Thank you very much, Neela, for the introduction. And I really would like to extend my thanks to SEMS India for having me here and for all the participants for taking the time on a Friday evening to join us today. So before we start, I know that all of us are joining from very different parts of India and even the world. So, but at the same time, I think it would be nice to, if we can, if it's possible, to have our videos on because it's nicer to sort of look at people when you're addressing them and you're having a session, if possible. As Neela has mentioned, it's nice if you keep the mic off because so that we try to avoid the background noise. But if you can turn your videos on, I would request to do that. So, it's easier for me to also sort of understand whether you all are understanding and following what this webinar is about. So it'll help me sort of deliver a better webinar. Thank you very much, all of you. And it's always nice to see people. Great. So let's get started. Maybe before I jump into the topic of the day, I'd like to understand a bit the audience. So how many of us here are students or are studying still? So maybe if you can just raise your hands on Zoom, that should be good enough. Okay, we have a few students in the audience. And what about professors and teachers? How many educators do we have on this call? So you could be a teacher, professor, faculty member. Okay, so we have a few people from like academia, teaching, learning, and education as well. So that's great. And I guess we have a broad mix of many people as well. Like we have 50 plus people on the call. Some of them are students, some of them are teachers, some of them are also beyond other groups. Excellent. So I think Neela has already given an introduction about me and what we do, but I'll sort of shortly start with that. So I'm Omkar. I'm the founder CEO of Miracle.io. We are a company headquartered in Germany with a team across Germany, India, and the US. And we use immersive technologies on mobile devices to unlock learning by doing from anywhere in the world, which is something that we see as one of the biggest challenges that the education world faces today. So before we jump into that, I'd like to sort of also introduce briefly our team. So we combine 100 plus years of global perspectives on immersive technology, education, and the science of how humans learn. And we do this together with our team across US, Germany, and India. So we have people from academia, we have people from the industry, and we have people who have worked in different domains and different countries. And we all sort of blend all of this background and knowledge together to do what we do. You can find more information about us, of course, on our website. So I won't spend a lot of more time on this slide. But let's get started and let's jump straight into our topic today. Right? I'd like this to be a bit of an interactive sort of a webinar. So there'll be a lot of questions along the way, and please feel free to answer them in the chat or please, I invite you to also take part in this. So who knows about the metaverse, or who can tell me or tell us what the metaverse is?
Sir, the Facebook which uses metaverse as an example, one of the best examples.
So Facebook, according to you, is a good example of what the metaverse is about. Okay. We will come to that about Facebook and about what is happening over there. But maybe let's start with defining exactly what the metaverse means. Right? Yeah. So the metaverse is basically the next generation of the internet that is mostly 3D, mostly interactive, and mostly immersive. So again, this is a very new technology. It's a very new sort of a concept. So it's still under definition, I would say, but this is the best definition that we have today of what the metaverse is. So once again, mostly 3D in three-dimensional space, mostly interactive instead of just being passively consumed, and mostly immersive, being mostly like having multiple forms and stimulating multiple senses, essentially. Now, based on what one of our attendees mentioned about, is there an owner of the metaverse? Is there some individual or a single company or a single entity that owns the metaverse? Well, the answer is no. Nobody owns the entire metaverse. The metaverse is collectively owned, created, and consumed by all of us. And that could be people from all countries, people from all companies, people who belong to one company or another, students, teachers, and everyone else, right? Just like we consume the internet today, we can go and browse other websites as consumers, or we can create websites of our own or create content of our own that goes on websites. So nobody really owns the internet, but we all consume and create and build using tools on the internet. Similarly, the metaverse is the same. That's how conceptually it is being sort of built, that nobody really owns it. So though Meta and Facebook are the most popular companies that we associate with the metaverse, they don't own the metaverse, right? And there is no even one single metaverse. There are multiple metaverses. So this can get very confusing very quickly. So therefore, it's good that we sort of have these webinars so people sort of understand from the very beginning about how these things are evolving. So if nobody owns this, then how do we regulate it? How do we manage it, right? If nobody owns this. And that's where standards, for example, come in. So there's an organization called the Metaverse Standards Forum, which is a group of companies, which includes Facebook, now known as Meta, Microsoft, Sony, and ourselves, Miracle.io as well, among a few other companies. And we are collectively shaping how the metaverse evolves and how we basically can interact with the metaverse safely and reliably, so that these multiple metaverses can interoperate with each other and all of us can get access to it. And there are many factors, there are many considerations that we have to make while building something new, right? So Miracle.io is a principal member of the Metaverse Standards Forum. It's an international group of companies, like I said, including all of these large players in this space as well. So now the next question that comes up is, okay, this is great, but how do we build this? Like how are things built in the metaverse, right? Like what are the tools that we use? What are the methods that we use? How do we get started with building in the metaverse? And one of the most commonly used technologies to build the metaverse is extended reality. So you may have heard of AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality. Extended reality is basically an umbrella term. It sort of contains all of these technologies, and they use very advanced AI technology. So often a lot of computer vision, but not only computer vision. So mostly XR technology is used to build the metaverse. And I'll be using the term XR a lot in the presentation, but XR stands for extended reality. And it is exactly what you think it means, right? With XR technology, you are able to extend reality. So either by creating an entirely virtual world and a virtual reality, or by enhancing your existing physical reality around you as well. And therefore, obviously, it opens up an entire universe of possibilities, right? And that's where the term metaverse also comes from, because it's a completely new universe that you can sort of create with these kind of technologies. So let's take an example, right? How many of you have heard about VR meditation? Has anyone tried VR meditation, first of all? Okay, no one has tried VR meditation yet. So let's have a 1-minute example of how VR meditation works, right? So I have a video over here, and basically before going in the video, I'd like to sort of explain what VR really is, very simply put. And VR is a fully digitally constructed environment that may resemble physical reality, right? So it may have elements from physical reality, the world that we live in, but it may also have some more magical things that are otherwise not a part of our reality. But it's fully virtually, it's fully digitally, synthetically created, essentially. And all interactions take place in this virtual environment. So there is no connection with the real world around you. It's mainly completely contained in this virtual world. So let's have a look of an example of virtual reality meditation. Okay, so I think you should all be able to see this video. And let me know if you're able to hear the sound as well, because that makes it a lot more immersive.
Let's start our meditation by taking a look around our new environment. Calmly let your gaze wander around the surroundings. Gentle, cool breeze blows over the ocean and through the palm trees. Sun glistens on the water, and the shadows grow longer. Tropical island, free of distractions, to help you focus on you, your mind and body.
So that's a very quick example of how VR works. As you saw, this was a fully generated, synthetically generated, digitally generated reality where you can meditate. It's very calm, it's very soothing. And yeah, there are people who use it to meditate. Maybe Neela, can you confirm if you could hear the audio as a part of the presentation? Or someone from the SEMS team?
Sir, it was audible.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Perfect. So then we can go forward. Okay, so that was VR, right? What we just saw. Now let's have another look at another component of XR, which is mixed reality. So VR is fully virtual. It's there is no interaction between the physical world. Mixed reality is what you think, is exactly what you think it is. You're able to mix two realities. And that's where the fun starts, right? Because then suddenly you're able to transform your everyday life or everyday world around you into something completely new. And a very good example of this, maybe some of the students here might have heard about it or have used it already, is about virtual pets in the real world. Right, so virtual pets being, Pokemon. You may have heard, you may have seen it, you may have heard about it. So let's have a look about how Pokemon works out here, right? So I'm going to show you another example of a mixed reality use case.
My best friend. Oh, you're my best friend.
So that's an example of mixed reality. You can see that it's the virtual pets interact very seamlessly with the real world of the real people around them. So this is where things get very interesting, because then you're suddenly able to sort of become very creative with what you can do with this technology in the real world around you. So Pokemon Go was very, very popular with the youngsters especially. And you can see why exactly it was so popular. Okay, now let's move a bit further, right? Okay. Great. So this is great. This is fine. VR meditation is interesting. Pokemon is fun and interesting. But how do we bring education to the metaverse, right? How can it be applied in education, and how can it be made valuable for education? And that's exactly where what we do. With Miracle.io, you are able to transform classrooms into interactive exhibits. I'm going to show you a live demo as well in this physical space in a moment. But this is a live example of a school in Mumbai, Vidyanithi High School. Also happens to be the school that I studied in for 12 years of my life, from kindergarten until 10th grade. So when we built Miracle for the first time, we went to Vidyanithi High School and tested it with the students. And you can really see over there, like the students who are doing it, and the students who are also watching it. It's something that is really immersive for them, and we're able to explain very complex concepts by transforming classrooms into interactive exhibitions, essentially, and therefore engaging all learners, which is a big challenge today. Engaging and learning by doing are the two biggest challenges that educators face today, and that's something that we are able to solve with this. And you can also transform homes into STEM or science labs, so science, technology, engineering, and medicine, mathematics. All of these ideas can be basically learned by doing at your home, so, or anywhere in the world for that matter. So you can understand complex procedures, complex processes with this kind of technology in education as well. And most importantly, because you're stimulating multiple senses, you're able to go away from memorization and instead make learning memorable, and therefore make it lifelong. So that's the power of using XR and you taking education to the metaverse. The effects of it are something that are very, very powerful, both for students, for teachers, and for education at large. Now, how does this exactly work, right? So these are all screen grabs and pictures, but maybe you want to see something live happening. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to join with my device that will let you also have a look at this. Our approach towards building the metaverse of real world hands-on learning is one that is accessible. We keep access in mind, because again, Facebook's approach towards building the metaverse is with their headsets, right? And these headsets cost almost $1,000 today. And like I don't think there are a lot of people here who would afford to buy that headset with their phone and with their computer and everything else. So it's not very accessible in that sense. So our approach towards the metaverse in education, we believe that education, high quality education, should be accessible, and therefore the metaverse of education should also be accessible. So we do this through everyday mobile devices. So no special hardware, no special tools. Android and iOS phones that all of us have in our pockets, they can also take you to the metaverse as a student or as a teacher or as a professor. How do we do that? Let me just show it to you right away. So I will join with my mobile device, and you should be able to see this. Okay. Great. So that's me with my mobile device. Okay, now this is the Miracle mobile application. So you can also, this application is available live already. So you can go on the Miracle website and check it out for yourself, but I'll quickly show you one demonstration, maybe two. So one of them is a biology example. Now, I personally, as a student, I actually dropped biology in 11th and 12th because I felt that it focused too much on memorizing all these names, and I felt it was boring. But then later, I realized how awesome and how beautiful biology is. And that's something that, I felt a bit bad about dropping it during 11th and 12th. And I'm sure, many of the students out here and many professors and, everyone else around has seen these kind of stories around them and maybe with themselves as well. And as a society, we lose out on many opportunities to create more scientists, more technologists, because many schools may not have access to high quality labs. Even if they have labs, they may not have access to infrastructure and equipment and materials and all of these things. And even if they do, all of these things are very expensive. And therefore, students are sort of almost scared about using it because it is so expensive. So how can we, create more confident and curious scientists if, they're being scared because of the lack of infrastructure or, the difficulty in accessing labs? And that's where Miracle comes into the picture, and our technology is solving this problem today. So this is a quick example of 3 activities. One is understanding parts of a microscope. Second is understanding how to prepare slides for a microscope, mounts they call it, and understanding how to view the prepared mounts under the microscope. I'm going to show you the second part, how to prepare the wet mount and dry mount. This is often something that never happens in a regular school. So let's get started. Now, I'm going to use the physical space around here, this office. I don't know if you see it, but there is nothing out here right now. There's no table. It's just the floor. I can show it to you in a moment. So I'll be using this part of my office to sort of walk you through it. And let's get started, right? So, okay, great. So, as you can see, we are able to understand the environment that you're in. So as you can see, there is nothing over here. This is my desk over here. And this is the door out here that you can see. And basically, we are able to understand the environment that you're in. And we are able to transform it into a science lab. So you can see that we have a science lab completely set up over here, right? And all of it is fully interactive. So I can go ahead and pick up this tool. So the mobile device is my entry point into the metaverse of education that we've built out here, right? And now I've picked up this tool and I can move around with this tool, and I can use this tool to now pick up the flower petal and place it on the dry slide. And you can see that along the way, we instruct people how to use it, even if they've never used this kind of technology before, or even if they've never been in a science lab before, right? And now the next step requires me to drop these tweezers that are picked up on this table again. Now I can place this virtual tool on this virtual table that we have, or I can go to my kitchen out here in the next room, and I can place this virtual tool on a real kitchen table. And I'm going to do exactly that just to demonstrate how it works. And then we come back, and then we continue the rest of the activity. As you can see, we are able to involve the entire environment as a part of the learning experience. And you then pick up the cover slip, place it on the dry slide. Oh, the table has moved a bit, but we're still here, right? And then you can see that the next steps again involve me picking up the tools, I'll responding to the instructions and continuing the rest of the activity. Now, the next step requires me to go and pick up my tweezers, which I've left in the other room, as you can see the blue instruction to go back and pick up my tool. I come back and pick up my onion peel and continue the rest of the work. So this is a quick example of how mixed reality and XR in general is being used in education today. I can show you quickly another example, a simpler one. This is about physics, right? So how the phenomenon of light, how light disperses when it changes media, how it works. So I'm going to quickly, okay, this is here, okay. So how does light disperse through a glass prism? Let's have a look at that. Right? So once again, we are able to transform the environment that you're in, and we are able to place a lab setup for you over there. So once again, placing the lab in front of you, and you can see that you now have a lab, a pinhole cardboard, a prism, which is made bigger to make it more understandable, and then a screen on which you can see the light being dispersed. Okay, so let's get started, right? So the first step is to start the lamp, right? So the lamp starts, and you can see that the lamp, now the pinhole makes it a point light source. And this is a classic 10th grade science activity that students never get to do, never get to see, right? But with this, they're able to do it in their homes, in the classroom, or wherever they are in the world, right? Now, let's take another position. I'm going to sit on the other side of the chair over there and see it from another angle, right? And see how it looks as the prism disperses the light. So you can see from here. So you can see that the light disperses, or rather the light ray bends as it enters the prism and it changes the medium. And you have all the instructions also about how it goes about it. And you have the normal and everything else around as well. And as a final step, you can see that the light disperses on the screen as well. So you can see the entire setup from the light lamp to the point light source to, you can go close, you can also basically zoom in by going close as you do in real life. And you can see how the light disperses from the other side. So that's a very quick example of how this technology can be used to explain complex concepts and understand procedures, and really understand the beauty of the universe through science, and make students not afraid of science, but rather more curious about it. So that's another quick example of how this kind of technology works and what we're doing at Miracle with it. So would love to have any specific questions if they have come here so far. Are there any questions or any comments so far on the chat? Not that I see. Okay, great. So we can continue the rest of the presentation. And okay. Okay, I'm going to show you one more example. This time it's a video. It's a video of one of our other use cases, a more complex use case. Before I do that, I'm just going to close the door. Okay, coming back. Let's check this out, right? How another example of miracle. This time it's more for a more complex concept. It's that of a drone, right? So it's a robotics use case, but once again, it's very similar, right? So it's in the real world around you, or it can be placed in the real world around you, but it's a virtual use case that you can understand how to build and how it's constructed. So you can see this is the exploded view, which helps you understand different parts. And you can refer to it later at any point as well throughout the video. So this is the visualization of it, which is already nice. But the fun starts when you start doing it yourself. And when you start putting it together is when you learn how to build a drone, you learn how to put it together, because drones are expensive and you don't get hands-on experience with the drone very often. So this kind of technology lets you do exactly that. So you can now pick up each piece and you can put it all together, as you can see. And along the way, you're also instructed on how this is used and which parts you need to pick up, you need to place where, and so on. So you can think of it as an instruction manual about how to construct a drone. Or from an academic perspective, you can also model it as an assessment. So it's an activity that you give to the student and then let them do it themselves and then understand how much they've understood how to assemble a complex piece of equipment. So there are many things you can do with it. And we actually work with a lot of education providers. So these are teachers, professors, schools, colleges, universities, and any other organizations that have education as a core use case. And we work with them to create these kind of labs and make them available through everyday mobile devices without any special hardware, so that they can, like students from any corner of the world, are able to access this technology and this knowledge and learn by doing and remember it for the rest of their lives without needing to memorize it. So that's basically the Miracle.io's approach towards building experiential education and hands-on education in the real world metaverse. So that's a quick example of that. I'll maybe let you continue watching the rest of the video. So yeah, that's another yet another use case of how Miracle changes the game for educators and students both. And we've been working with quite a few organizations in Germany, in India, in other parts of the world as well. And yeah, we've seen some good results in classrooms, with students and with professors. Both. So yeah, would love to hear some thoughts, questions, ideas, opportunities that come to your mind when you see what you've seen so far.
Okay, sir. So I have a question that how to manage this study without network connection or network error in. So how we are manage this?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Like I said, access is an important aspect towards what we do, right? So for example, my father was born in a very small village outside of India, outside of Mumbai, sorry, not India. Like it's between Mumbai and Gujarat. It's a tiny village. They have rice farms and everything else still over there. And I still have cousins in the village. And today they have mobile devices, some of them even have computers and laptops. But still today, like you have power cuts in many parts of the country. And if you have a power cut, your router is off and yeah, there's no internet. And what do? You can't just keep consuming mobile data. And even mobile data is, not available everywhere. So that's what we did. With Miracle.io, we have built it in a way that you don't need continuous internet connectivity. Like when you go to school or go to library or maybe go to mall or whatever, is when you might get internet connectivity. So you can prepare a learning experience, a module, when you are connected, and then you can go home and you can basically, you don't need internet after that point. So you can sort of understand and go through, even on flight mode, technically, you can make this work once you've prepared the module. And because it's on a mobile device, we can make this work. And my own personal background has been in mobile technology for the last 10 years. So we've perfected this art of being able to do it from any corner of the world. And yeah, so that's, I don't know if that answers the question, Neela.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I see that there are quite a few comments over here. Why can't you work on in-depth about plants?
Yeah.
We actually can. Maybe I can give you a quick example of something that we've done, like related to the microscope experiment, right? So
Okay.
how do you place a slide in the microscope? Maybe I'll just show you a quick video instead of doing the whole demo again. But
So in fact, it was really in vivid description and very in detailed about everything, just really amazing. It's like the next level of learning for the students and all. Certain things we couldn't see with our naked eye, but the kind of platform you are trying to get it out, it's a very knowledgeable way and approach, sir. But coming to the biology field, because I'm from pharmacognosy,
right.
So I would like to ask because of course we do have many fields in the science branch, but coming to the plants and all, we have to dig in depth.
Right.
So
exactly. So there is a lot to be done over there. Just like you saw the drone, right? So I think of the drone as a complex system, just like a plant or an animal system as well.
Yes.
So you place the drone parts with plant parts and you have the answer, right?
Exactly.
So it can be as complex or as simple as we want it to be. And you can have even different levels of detail as well. So for example, sometimes in 8th grade and the 10th grade, you have the same topic, but you might need different levels of understanding for the same topic. So you can have these granularity levels of knowledge, or knowledge resolution levels is how I like to think about it. So that can also be done as a part of Miracle. So the whole learning science aspect of it, we also bake into the technology. So the science of how students and people in general learn is something that is baked into it. And there's the whole learning analytics aspect of it as well. Like, which student, the personalization of it, which student is understanding which topic to what level, because we also do assessment as a part of our content. So that is also included over here.
Yeah, because the level of perception may differ from one to one. So we have to. Yeah.
Exactly. There is another example of the next step of the microscope experiment that I just showed you quickly. So this is my parents' apartment in Mumbai.
Okay.
So you can see that there is a table over here, and we can basically transform this table into a microscope lab, right? And you can view cell structures. So this slides that you created in the previous step, which I did here, you can now place them. So you have amoeba, onion peel, animal cells, and blood cells, and so on. And this is like you go close to the microscope physically. So as you do the microscope, you look into it. And then you enter the view of the microscope, and you can basically see different parts of the cell as well. And you can understand how to control the microscope, the focus knobs, and all of these things. Yeah. So that's what we do. It's a fun place to be. There's a lot to be built here, and we do that very closely with subject matter experts. But we believe that's the best way to go forward. Like, we are technology experts, we are learning science experts, But
Yes.
if we combine forces with subject matter experts, then
Yes.
that's when this becomes very powerful. So yeah,
Thank you,
that's
sir, for providing everyone this kind of wonderful opportunity and a platform to learn things in a other level. It's been
yeah.
really very innovative. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure is all ours. Personally, I have a lot of fun in doing these kind of things, and I enjoy talking about these things as well. So it's just, we're just having fun and building value in the process, I would say.
Yes.
And this is another example. It's from Vidyanidhi High School, so you can see the students
Yes.
over there, fully engaged. And dispersion of light, what you just saw here in my office. This time is displayed in a park. Can be done with or without internet connectivity, as I mentioned before. So you can do it anywhere in the world. You're on a mountaintop, in a desert, doesn't matter. Right? As long as you have a phone and some battery, you're good. And yeah, helps educators to attract and engage more learners. You can really see their faces over there. They're really into it. And yeah, students are actually doing it themselves, whether in the classroom or outside of it and their homes. And yeah, that's our philosophy. It's very simple. And yeah, that's all. If there are any other questions or topics or questions or ideas or comments, I really welcome everyone. And yeah, I welcome all of you to get in touch with us. You can, we'll stop this. I welcome all of you to get in touch with us. Whoever has any good ideas, especially people in education, but not only, right? If you have some good ideas, we are happy to work together. This is our website. It's easy, miracle.io. And welcome@miracle.io is our email. I respond to these emails personally because I think it's important for me to sort of do that from the front. And you can scan this barcode and it will take you straight, if you do it on your phone, it will take you straight to the App Store or the Play Store if you're on iOS or Android, respectively. So you can download the app, you can try it out for free. And the later versions you can also buy if you are interested in these kind of things. And we continually are creating new content that you can build and do, essentially.
It's amazing.
Okay. Metaverse can be used in space research as well. I think it's basically a concept to use and explore. Yes, absolutely. In fact, we are working with a satellite company. We are in conversation with a satellite company. The satellites are, they're expensive, right? And at the same time, they're complex. So it's a very good use case for us to explain things with our technology over there. And yeah, I think everyone thinks that it's a very good and detailed way of explaining things. That's really great to hear. Perfect, great. Is there a website that we can resort to display these activities? Are they free of charge? So some of these activities we've exposed for free. The content takes a long, it takes quite some time and effort to create, right? So, but at the same time, we want to make it as accessible as possible. So you can try out some of the content on our app directly. So I can maybe add the link over here for our website, first of all. So this is our website. And this is our, if you click this link on your phone, it'll take you straight to the app where you can try this out. I need to send to everyone, I think. Okay. This is the app and this is the website. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to try this out. And please also, I invite you to get in touch with us because we are working very closely with subject matter experts and, students who are interested in creating this with us. And if there is any ideas that you have, we are happy to hear from you and see how we can build this great idea together and go from there. We work fully remotely. We are a remote first company. I'm in Germany. Our team is across the entire country in India. Some of our team members are in the US. We were a company born during the pandemic. So we've really adopted the remote way of working and the asynchronous way of working. So yeah, I invite all of you to get in touch with us and see how we can collaboratively do this. How can it be used by people from the commerce field? Very good question. Right now, we are focusing more on the science and the STEM fields. But for example, if you have a concept in commerce that is generally hard to understand, and if you, if you're a teacher, for example, then you can come up with a concept, like we can help you come up with a concept that can be eventually built into a miracle learning experience. So, for example, the supply and demand aspect in how commerce and markets work, right? So we keep talking about it, supply and demand, but how does it actually work, right? How does inflation work? Inflation is something that we all face it from a day-to-day basis, but very few of us actually understand how it works and why it works. So there is an entire financial literacy aspect that we are actually working with some financial literacy subject matter experts, how we can sort of transform, some of their content that is hard to digest and grasp using Miracle as well. So that's one use case that we're looking at. We don't have content for it yet, but yeah, we welcome you as well if you would like to build this content together with us. And if you have students already, then great, you can also already sort of roll it out to your students if you're a teacher as well. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. Mr. Anantrao. Great. I hope I haven't missed any question because there were a lot of messages. But I'm just going to go through them quickly once again. Okay. Okay, I think we've covered. I think Professor Manavalan has also sent a couple of messages. Okay. Commerce field. Okay, great. Perfect. So I think if there are no more questions for now, we can conclude the webinar. Of course, if there are any more questions that come up, please reach out to us on our website and on our email. Like I said, welcome@miracle.io is where you can reach us and we will respond to you from there directly. Or you can also reach us from our contact page on our website. We're very responsive. So we like to be in touch with our users, the people that would like to be with us and work with us. Great, then that's it. And I'd like to also remind you to make sure that you fill the feedback form as well that the SEBS team will be forwarding. We'd love to hear any feedback about how we can get better at also doing webinars, because this is something that I do on a regular basis. I do guest lectures for colleges, universities, schools on this topic. So all feedback is always valuable because it helps us get better at doing these things and sharing this knowledge. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for your kind thoughts. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you to the SEMS team for also organizing this lovely workshop and making it run very seamlessly and smoothly with everything, all the efforts that they put in as well. So thank you. Maybe we can take a group picture before we conclude. It's always nice to have a picture, and we'll also share it on our social media, and maybe SEMS can do the same as well. So if we can maybe turn our cameras on for just a moment so we can take a picture with all of us, that would be lovely.
Okay, just a request to stop sharing.
Yes, I will do exactly that. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. I've stopped sharing. Okay. Just waiting for a few more minutes, a few more seconds for a few more people to join us on pictures. And then we can take a snap. Don't worry, I will give a timeout so we can all smile in tandem then.
It's a request to everyone, please open the camera.
Okay, I think quite a few of us are here. So let's smile at the count of 3, right? 1, 2, and 3. Let's go. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. And again, it's lovely to see all of you. I think it's nicer to see everyone attending than just talking. So, but thank you for attending. And again, I look forward to keeping in touch with at least some of you and yeah, building something cool together as well.
Thank you,
Perfect.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your amazing PPT presentations. And now we have come to the end of this webinar. I would like to thank everyone who made this meeting possible and wonderful. And special thank to Mr. Omkar Pimple for this wonderful presentation and your valuable words. Thank you, sir. And the feedback link is already posted in message, and fill it up within 6 hours. And to stay connected with us, like, share, and subscribe our social media platforms also. And now it's the end of this session. So the journey is never ending. There always gonna be growth, empowerment, adversity. You just gotta take it all in end of what right. Continue to grow, continue to live in media handles, live in the moment. So thank you, sir. Thank you all once again to coming. So now you all are good to go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, sir.